Leaders in Bellevue confirm that the city's planned water park will be branded with some of America's most iconic toys. Bellevue will become one of the locations of a new Mattel Wonder indoor water park. There are currently 3 planned Mattel water parks, one in Bellevue, one in Orlando, and one in south of Chicago. Mattel is behind multiple famous toy lines, including Barbie, Hot Wheels, and Fisher-Price. In a statement, Bellevue Mayor Rusty Hike said the water park will serve as the cornerstone of the Bellevue Good Life District and create sustainable economic growth for decades to come.